Well, I think like masturbate sounds so clinical, and it doesn't really sound that fun, but it is. So you have to come up with something that indicates the joy. A little self-diddle, a little self-love. I mean, I don't know. I guess every gal has her own way of referring to it. It's a great time with yourself.
About 9 years old when I learned how to self-pleasure. And that's
Really?
very common for children. They don't know that it's normal, it's okay. And I wanted them to have orgasms too. So I would tell them how to go home and do it themselves.
Because sometimes when I masturbate, the first one, for some reason, the third or fourth with me, that's the biggie. My thing goes like this. In fact, after I finish masturbating, my head stays like this for
You have
like
your
several
frown
minutes.
lines.
Masturbating is kind of like a taboo. Not a lot of people talk about it. This isn't something that would normally be shared over any kind of typical conversation. Why the heck the schools where I had sex ed, why I was never taught about masturbation? It's like I had to discover it on my own. Yeah, I got caught once. My mom walked in the room and I just froze, and that's pretty much it.
Wait.
Am I really talking about this right now? Happy Masturbation Month, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the month of May. It's amazing, and hopefully you're learning some information here, aside from my personal
I'm not done yet.
stuff. What?
It's good for you in every way. Happy Masturbation Month, everybody, and don't forget to wank off once in a while or a lot in a while. Happy masturbating.
I started masturbating when I was 9. I was raised very Christian, actually by choice. I was very religious in my family, and I thought for sure I was going to hell. I prayed to God that I would stop masturbating. I had had enough of the guilt and the feelings of shame, and that I was going to hell, that something so simple and primal and necessary could be bad.
I masturbate so much, it's ridiculous. When I first started masturbating, like, it was kind of like nerve-wracking, but like not, I don't know, but that's kind of what got me excited about it, because I was like, ooh, this is like bad, like I'm not supposed to be doing this, but it kind of turned me on. The time I don't is because I'm like, I'm too lazy to masturbate. But then I remember when I started masturbating, I'm like, this is why I do this, I should do this more often. I mean, I still do it all the time, but it's like, God, I need to do this even more.
It's pretty fun.
But then sometimes you're just too tired. I'm like, I'm
Never
too
too
tired to masturbate.
tired.
I'll do it in the morning. No, I get tired. Trust me, I'm just like, I'll do it in the morning, no biggie. I don't want to clean it. I don't want to get out of bed.
I was pretty young, I feel like. I remember masturbating in, like, while taking baths and just, like, having sensation, like, realizing I had sensation in my clitoris and all that kind of stuff. So I can't necessarily put an exact point on it, but I do remember masturbating as a child and as an adolescent and so on and so forth. And I still masturbate all the time to this day, so.
Less. If they're the right partner for me, we're having sex all the time.
I find myself sufficiently satisfied with guys not to masturbate that much.
I guess less because like everything you want to do with that person.
Well, because you're investing like a significant amount of time with that person, like on a daily basis, you have less time to do those things that you would do alone. So I would say not as much, but there are times.
First sex toy was, if you've ever had one.
Vibrator. One of those bunny things, like the rabbit.
A little bullet vibrator, quickly upgraded to something a little bit more realistic. It was like a cyber skin, realistic, like 10 function vibe, so I was much happier with that one.
Ooh, that was a really gross, really cheap pink silicone thing.
I think masturbation's really healthy.
Have you done it yourself?
Of course.
Have you ever done it yourself? I take that as a yes. And another thing. Why are you
human?
Do you masturbate?
Yes, I do. 3 to 4 times a day.
I would be so excited to see my grandmother, so I'd go and raid her Star magazine collection to run in the bathroom to masturbate. And the priest was telling us we shouldn't have premarital sex, we shouldn't masturbate. And I was like, hand in the air, I was like, why does Jesus care if I touch myself? And there was like 40 people in the catechism class. I want to touch myself. Why does Jesus care? Pervert. Pervert. I'm automatically going to hell.
So, Alexa, do you masturbate?
Well, the answer to that question is yes, I masturbate, and I'm proud to admit I masturbate.
And at the same time, I was so addicted to the process of my masturbation process. So I was angry and hated what I was doing, but at the same time really loved the feeling.
You know, masturbation is I think it's a very important practice. And so doing that while you're masturbating, kind of moving the hips is helpful. I find that that really helps to stimulate arousal. And hopefully this wasn't too X-rated. Yeah. I love you. I hope you have a really beautiful day.
Every week something new shows up in this area of literal orgasm in my body when I'm, playing with my partner or whatever, just doing things for myself.
I've been a very highly orgasmic being since I was a child. So since at the age of 6, I was like totally blissed out, following my bliss, and before you know it, I had this full body orgasm. And so inevitably the next few days I tried to get an orgasm again, and I guess my mother saw me. I was carrying so much guilt, so much shame, and so much awkwardness and confusion around my sexuality.
Hey everyone, so today's video is about masturbation and the reason why it's not morally right and why it's wrong. A lot of people ask me, why do I say masturbation is evil? Honestly, for self-pleasure, I have a dildo, just like a generic one, just one that you can use, like a jelly one. If you're not into like dildos, for instance, that's a lot of work. It's like in and out yourself. I use this more for my clit area.
I really try hard not to think about masturbating too much. I had a moment there where I really could not get out of bed one day because it was a constant thing, and I try very hard to not have any triggers around, around me where I would feel like I need to masturbate today. I'm definitely better. I'm still human, don't get me wrong. I mean, we all have to clean the pipes.